Hi and welcome to MicroStrategy. My name is Michael Hoffmann and I'm working as a Principal Sales Engineer for MicroStrategy Germany. In this video, I want to show you how you can work with MicroStrategy in the same way as you would do with Power BI's desktop. So in other words, we don't use all the enterprise platform capabilities of MicroStrategy, the semantic graph, the model schema, the single version of the truth, and so on and so on and so on. We want to do it ad hoc. We want to do it quick and dirty. We want to work just on our desktop PC, like you would do with Power BI Desktop. We want to connect to data. We want to build our model, create dashboards. We want to save everything in a single file, as you would do with Power BI Desktop. And we want to share this file with others. And the good news is, you can do all of this with MicroStrategy and you can do it for free. So there is no cost to use this kind of functionality. But if you want to do more later and you would like to use and leverage all the great platform capabilities with a huge amount of front-end features and so on, you can later upload your solution into the platform and then combine your solution with all the great platform capabilities of MicroStrategy. Okay, and in this video, I want to show you how we can do this in a similar way like with Power BI Desktop. So let's get started. Before we start with the live demonstration of these capabilities, let me introduce the tool from MicroStrategy you need to do all this. It's MicroStrategy Workstation. MicroStrategy Workstation is a new tool, a very powerful tool. It's the ultimate tool for the platform of MicroStrategy. So you can administer the platform, you can work as an architect. So for example, implementing the data architecture, the single version of the truths, implementing security scenarios, and so on and so on. So lots of capabilities in this tool. But if you are working just on your desktop and if you are not connected against a MicroStrategy platform, as you can see here, I'm not connected against any back-end system, any platform, or not with the cloud, for example, then you can use this tool with a limited amount of functionality. And this is everything we need to work in a similar way like with Power BI Desktop. So we can connect to data, we can build our data sets, implement a model, create dashboards and reports and our visualizations, and everything is saved in a single file. If we use the approach I introduced at the beginning of this presentation, like in Power BI Desktop, everything is saved in a single file. Okay, so the connectivity to the data sources, the data itself, the data set, the visualizations, the dossier, and so on, to the report and dashboard. So let's have a look at one of them. Okay, now I'm running this dossier in presentation mode, okay, and you can see this dossier has two different pages, so I can switch between the pages. You can see the data, yeah, you see the visualization. It's absolutely offline, like you would have it in Power BI Desktop. So we are just opening the file with all the configuration, with all the info, okay, and you can see it's absolutely interactive. So for example, if I'm filtering here, yeah, you can see the results immediately in the dashboard. Here you can see another file that I opened with MicroStrategy Workstation and a dossier that is in this file. And here you can see it's absolutely interactive. So you have the same user experience that you would have if you would like to run this dossier in the enterprise platform of MicroStrategy. We have several pages here in this dossier. And you can see you can switch here and work like if you would work in the platform with MicroStrategy Library, for example. Okay, now let's take a look behind the scenes. If I go into the edit mode and if I click here on data sets, yeah, you can see here are the data sets for the visualizations and all the scenarios that are part of this dossier. Yeah, and you can create these data sets with MicroStrategy Workstation. I will show you in a minute. Yeah, but one thing that is very important, for example, Power BI is limited to one data set. So you create one data set and then you work on top of this data set for your report. Okay, in MicroStrategy, you have the option to use more than one data set at the same time. And you can see here, we have more than one data sets, and data sets can be related to each other, so you can link attributes from one data set to another data set. In other words, you have a lot of flexibility here. You can join different data sets with different data sources at the same time. So even after you have already implemented the dashboard and you would like to inject more data later, you do not have the need to change all your data sets. You can just add another one and then join this data with the data sets that are already there in the solution. And now I want to show you step by step what you need to do to implement your own solution using this very powerful approach on your desktop PC. Okay, so we start by clicking here on the plus button, and with that, a new empty dossier is created, and a dossier is a kind of interactive report or dashboard in MicroStrategy. Okay, so everything's empty here. We start with the connection to data. And now you can see here we have lots of connectors you can use here immediately. For example, you can upload files from different file formats, but you can connect to data sources as well. For example, relational data sources, databases, and it's up to you to choose, would I like to use select tables or using the query builder or type the SQL on my own. In my example, I would like to use the tables directly from the databases. Here, you can create the connectivity to the databases. So you can see here only databases you're able to connect to. And for example, if you would like to connect to, let's say, an Oracle database, you see here the dialog changes with all the input fields that are required to connect to this data source. After you filled in all the data, an item is created here. I already prepared this for our scenario, and here you can see I'm connecting to PostgreSQL database to a database called tutorial. All right, so let's jump into this database. I select the namespace, public, and now you can see all the tables here in the database. It's very convenient. You can search for tables. So for example, I would like to use a fact table, order fact. Let's have a look at it. You can see the columns here. We have fact data here, cost, amount. We have the customer here. So let's drag this here over to the right. We need customer data. So look up customer. Okay. And now I click on prepare data. And now we jump in the modeling space of this ad hoc, let's say, modeling experience in MicroStrategy Workstation. Okay. So this is not the modeling environment from the enterprise platform with the single version of the true semantic graph. This is the ad hoc, let's say, power user ad hoc modeling environment that you have here directly in a dossier or in Workstation for ad hoc and, let's say, quick and dirty scenarios. If you would like to implement solutions on your own, if you would like to integrate data on your own, if you like to create these solutions extremely fast, without the need to implement a centrally managed, centrally governed semantic graph in the platform of MicroStrategy. Okay, so we have the two tables here. As you can see, MicroStrategy detects relationships. It's up to you to say, I would like to use attributes, I would like to not use attributes. You can change metrics to attributes if this makes sense. You can create multi-form attributes, a feature that is not available in Power BI. Here you can, for example, create a customer with an ID and customer first and last name, and then this combination is used as an attribute. And yes, for sure, you can integrate additional data if you like. Okay, so for example, I would like to create an Excel file. For example, let's add this. And now you see we have this Excel file here, and we have a column, order ID, that can be related here to order fact. If the column name would not be the same, you can just drag the attribute here to the other table, and then the relationship is established. And yeah, this makes it very convenient to work here with the data and to model your schema in this ad hoc approach. Okay, if you click on finish, it's up to you to decide how should MicroStrategy work with the data in the backend. So for example, if you are working just against a SQL database, you can choose Live Connect, or you can say, I would like to have it in memory. If you are using several data sources at the same time, and if you want to have the maximum speed, then you work in memory, like in Power BI, and then you import the data, and you can refresh the data just as you like to get the current data for your solution. I jumped 2 minutes ahead, and now you can see here my final schema, my final model. So I have 1, 2, 3 tables from the PostgreSQL database. I have order fact, I have customer data, I have customer city data, and you can see here the relationships. Moreover, I have imported this Excel file. I just want to use the relationship to the order and the cost. So we have cost from the Excel file, we have revenue from the data warehouse, and we have the customer and customer city data also from the data warehouse. Okay, and if we go now here in my dossier, you can see this is the data set, yeah, that was created now from this model. If I go back, you see here is my model. Here are the tables from the data warehouse. Here's the Excel file, and this is the data set. As I mentioned before, you can import or create as many data sets as you like. So you do not have the need to, for example, inject the Excel file directly into this first data set. We did it here. And if you choose this approach, you have maximum performance for sure. But on the other hand, for example, you can say, I have another Excel file and I import this as an additional data set into the solution. And then you're able to link attributes from one data set to attributes from another data set. You can do this here by link to other data set, and here you can see the dialog how you can do this, and this makes it very convenient. It's very nice, very smart, to inject more data and to relate data that is already there in your solution. All right. In most cases, the data sets themselves are not enough. You need to derive, for example, additional attributes. You need to derive metrics and so on. And you can see some of these examples here. So for example, you can see here we have a date attribute that comes from the table, and you're able in MicroStrategy to create time intelligence, time calendar here on the fly directly in the dossier. I did this here in order to derive the month and year attribute. Here you can see this is a derived metric. So I said I would like to calculate revenue minus cost. And you have more than 300 functions here in MicroStrategy to derive your own metrics directly here in the front end. You do not have the need to code anything. You do not have the need to, for example, write DAX code and program here. You can do all this with just point and click in MicroStrategy. After you created your data set and derived your additional metrics and attributes, you can start implementing the pages from this dossier. And you can see here several graphs. MicroStrategy has a really powerful graph library, and it's all just drag and drop how to configure the graph. So for example, if you see this graph here, you can see the drop zones here for the configuration. You see I used here revenue, profit, and month that I derived here from date from the data set. Or here, for example, you can see the orders table. Or here, for example, we have the geo visualization and the drop zones from there. Okay, you have a lot of configuration options here using these properties, so it's very easy to use just drag and drop capabilities to integrate your visualizations just as you like. One last example, I just create here an additional new page. I want to show you how easy it is to create your metrics here on the fly. So for example, we have year, we have month, we have revenue, and we have fried. And now I would like to, for example, create just a percent total calculation. Yeah, it's just here, shortcut metric, and then percent to total, make a break by year, and then the metric is done. MicroStrategy provides a lot of smart metrics here in MicroStrategy that you can use here directly from the menu. But moreover, we have a really powerful metric editor. You do not have the need to code anything. So it's just an editor that comes up, and this editor provides a lot of functions here, more than 300 functions here in total. And then you configure the metric with all the configuration items directly here in the dialog. You do not have the need to code anything. In some situations, you have the need to clean your data, to do some data preparation on top of your data. This can also be done with MicroStrategy. This is called data wrangling. So for example, if we are here in our model of the first data set, we can select a table, and from there we can say data wrangling. And then we see the columns, we see the data, we can select the column we would like to, let's say, clean or so. And then you see we have lots of functions that we can use here to clean the data. So for example, if you would like to split this value by this character T, I can say split on separator. I would like to use the T, and then I click apply, and then you see MicroStrategy created two columns from this. This can be undo. You can undo this operation if you like. Okay, if you compare this with Power Query, I need to be honest. Power Query is a lot more powerful, compared to MicroStrategy data wrangling. And we don't want to compete here against Power Query, because in most scenarios where MicroStrategy is used, in the enterprise scenarios, the customers are working with tools like Informatica, App Initio, or Microsoft integration services in order to clean the data, to prepare the data, and then push the data into a data warehouse where MicroStrategy is sitting on top of it. So in other words, you have some data wrangling, data preparation capabilities in MicroStrategy, but if you need more, I would suggest use Excel, for example, in combination with Power Query. And if you need more power to do it, I would suggest using Python. Python in combination with the Pandas library using data frames. And with that, you have all the capabilities you need to do high sophisticated data cleaning preparation scenarios on your own. After we finished the implementation of our dashboard, we just need to save the dashboard with all the data, with all the visualizations, with everything into a single file. And therefore we click here on File, click on Save or Save As, and then a dialog comes up and you can save the file. If you want to refresh the data of your data sets, you just enter this menu item, and from there you say Republish Cube. And here you can see all the tables related to databases or files that are part of your data set. So here, for example, I select the Excel file again, and here are the references to the tables. You can choose replace existing data or just update or add new data. This is very nice if you have very large data sets. And then you click on refresh, and then you're done. And now the data is refreshed. And you can save it. You say save here, or click on the save button, and then the file is updated with the current data, and you can go on with sharing your file. In the next step, I want to show you the options you have to share your file. So here you can see we are in the folder structure on my local desktop PC, and you can see this is the file from the dossier we already created. Now, for sure, you can just send the file via email or put it on an iDrive or whatever in order to share it. Another option is you can leverage the platform of MicroStrategy. So when you start small and create such a kind of solution and you want to go on and address more capabilities, for example, using more sharing capabilities, more resources, more performance, more security capabilities, and so on and so on and so on and so on, you have the option to import this file into the platform of MicroStrategy, and then you are in another world of capabilities. Okay, so how we can do this? If we go here in Workstation, you see here are these files on my PC, and in order to upload this file into the MicroStrategy platform, we first need to connect to the platform. Okay, so now I'm connected to the platform. Let's go into the dossiers again. And you can see now we have lots of dossiers here. Sure, because we are connected to the platform of MicroStrategy, maybe more than 1,000 dashboards or reports here at the same time. But we want to upload now this dossier into the platform. And for this, we just right-click on this dossier and click on Library Access. And then we can give it a name, and then we can navigate into the structure of this environment. So for example, we can put this dossier in the public folder structures, or we can save it just in my personal folder structures. So for this example, I just save it in my personal folder, in my personal workspace in the platform. From there, I can share it with others using additional capabilities of MicroStrategy. By the way, I can even certify this dashboard. I can set it as a template for others. So very nice additional capabilities. Click Save and Send. And now we are done. Now this dashboard is part of the MicroStrategy platform and was uploaded into my personal folder. Moreover, I can share now this dossier with others. I can manage the access for others to this dossiers because now I'm connected here with the platform of MicroStrategy. At the end of my presentation, I want to show you a real amazing additional feature of the MicroStrategy platform. And this feature is only available if you combine now your dossier with the MicroStrategy platform and you uploaded this dossier into the platform. Okay, as you can see here, now we have this dossier in our MicroStrategy library. The MicroStrategy library is the central consumer portal. It's the central portal of a MicroStrategy user. You can see all the documents and dashboards and reports and so on here. It works personalized. And as you can see here, now we can see the dossier we created before here in our library. Okay, as expected. But now let's go on with this amazing capability. Now you have the option to change the ungoverned data from this dossier with governed data that comes from the single version of the truth, from the semantic graph of MicroStrategy, because now we are working in the platform of MicroStrategy, and below the platform we have the semantic graph in place in combination with central security, multi-language support, time zone support, and so on and so on. How can we do this? We just click here on Edit, and now we are in the edit mode. Same user experience as you saw before in Workstation. Absolutely the same user experience. You see the data sets here. And now you can say, I would like to replace this data set with objects from the semantic graph. Yeah, and here you can see we have access to all the attributes, all the metrics, and so on from the semantic graph. We have here metric hierarchies with more than 200 metrics. We have lots of attributes here, and we can just drag and drop the objects here in the drop zones, and with that we can replace the data set that are ungoverned in our dossier. If you want to use MicroStrategy Workstation in the way I showed you in this video, you can go on our website, microstrategy.com, and create an account, and then you can download Workstation for free. If you want to learn MicroStrategy Workstation and all its capabilities, you can see here in the Help menu of Workstation, there's a link, MicroStrategy Workstation Help, and here you can see there's a website with all the documentation about the capabilities of MicroStrategy Workstation, including videos and how-tos and so on and so on. But MicroStrategy Workstation can do a lot more than what I showed you in this video, because it's the ultimate tool for administration, monitoring, architecting, building the semantic graph, doing all the security things, and so on and so on. But in this video, we just leveraged really a small portion of MicroStrategy Workstation. In other words, you just need only a small portion of the documentation that is mentioned here with MicroStrategy Workstation. As you saw in this video, you can use MicroStrategy in two different ways. Okay, in most situations, when customers, prospects, or even analysts think about MicroStrategy, they always think about this ultimate enterprise business intelligence platform with this huge amount of amazing capabilities. Yeah, but moreover, you can use MicroStrategy in a for free version, similar like using Power BI Desktop. And this is what I wanted to show you here. So it's very easy to do here ad hoc analysis. Do it on your own. You're not dependent on any other people, and you can create your solutions. You can save it as a file and you can share it. But if you want to go on, and if you want to use more platform capabilities, you can do so. So you can then upload the data, your dashboard in the platform, and from there you can use all the amazing platform capabilities of MicroStrategy. I hope you enjoyed this little video. Thanks for watching, and I wish you all the best. Bye.